Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today we're going to be talking about Sundial Cannabis. Now, we did talk about Sundial multiple times before, but today we have crucial updates toward due diligence and technical analysis. So without further ado, let's jump right into this one. My last video is in the description below if you want to check this out, but today we're going to be looking to more the updates and some of the highlights. So first off, starting with the highlights before going on towards the information updates. So the Q2 highlights starts off with a net revenue for the company cannabis segment of around $9.2 million, investments in fee revenue of $5.7 million, and a Sundial's share of profit of equity accounted investees of $3.7 million total for a net total revenue, an equity pickup of around $18.6 million for the quarter. Now, the gross cannabis revenue of around $12.7 million is an increase of 8% compared to the previous quarter. The net loss of $52.3 million for the second quarter of 2021 compared to $60.4 million to the second quarter of the prior year, excluding a non-cash provision for impairment on the old facility of $60 million, net income would have been $7.7 million for the 2021 second quarter. So this is very, very important. So there's a non-cash provision impairment on the old facility of $60 million. That makes up a massive chunk of the $52.3 million net loss. And that would bring the income from a loss to a net income of $7.7 million. So what does that tell us? It tells us that there is a good chance that the third quarter of 2021 would be positive. So keep that in mind. That would be a game changer. That is the big surprise here, is their old facility of $60 million impairment, cash impairment, or non-cash impairment, my bad. An adjusted EBITDA loss of around $0.2 million for the second quarter is seen, and that was compared to $3.9 million in the second quarter of 2020. Again, a really well put improvement. You might actually see a positive income adjusted EBITDA next quarter. Gross margins, loss and gross margin before fair value adjustments, loss from cannabis operation is around $2 million and $0.4 million respectively. That's compared to $3.3 million and $1.6 million last year of losses. There's also $1.3 billion of cash. That's massive. And marketable securities and long-term investments as of June 30th, 2021 and $1.2 billion as of August 9th, 2021. With no outstanding debt. The fair market value of investments on June 30th, 2021 was $354.5 million in cannabis-related credit facilities and marketable securities. Cannabis-related credit facility of $253 million at the second quarter end generated interest and fee income of $7.1 million for the quarter compared to $2.8 million in the previous quarter. So as well, an improvement onto there. The ATM net proceeds for the second quarter is $327.4 million at an average price of around $130 per share. The company's ATM facility has been inactive for 49 days prior to this news release. Subsequent to the quarter end, closed the acquisition of Inner Spirit, which we talked about multiple times, and they do go ahead and say that their second quarter performance continued to be impacted by liquidation on discounted inventory and a refusal to push suboptimal products into the market. We have undertaken significant retrenchments in our cultivation activity, which has included changes to our cultivation processes as well as workforce and other cost reductions. We have been continuously improving in our cultivation outcome as we remain focused on best practices to deliver the strong results in potencies, yield, and terpenes. Now, in the last 2 months of the quarter, we experienced the highest successive average potency at the harvest since the operations began at Olds. So going back towards this one here, total assets, you're able to see that it's around $1.4 billion. And you're able to see in terms of the 6 months ending June 30th, 2021, net revenue, $40 million. Again, all these metrics we talked about, so there's no point going back onto this. And the biggest thing is the Olds facility. So another thing we want to talk about is the Inner Spirit acquisition. Well, we actually talked about it in the last video, but it's very important to understand that these guys would bring more revenue, net income to the table because they're actually profitable. And then they go ahead towards some of the segments results. I'm not going to go through those just because it would be a really long video, but I do really recommend that you go ahead and read over it. They even have strategic and organizations updates for the company, focusing on cost controls, on streamlined operations, and also focusing on developing inhalables and new unique strains and different product formats. And they also have COVID-19 updates, which is basically the very usual we live in every now and then, and also previous information relating towards previous net incomes, revenues, and it's quite a long list. Now, in terms of presentation, but before doing so, if you would like to see more contents like this, make sure to click the subscribe button on the bottom right corner and leave notifications on. I covered this one for around 36 times, or I actually believe even more than that. And a lot of people have been watching and been loyal to this channel, but haven't hit that subscribe button yet, so please do so. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to drop a like to it, and our Discord is in the description below. Now, Sundial presentation here. We're able to take a quick look into some highlights. So the first thing, the biggest highlight is Spirit Leaf. Why is it? Because they do have enormous amount of stores. Actually, they have 2.3 million guests in 2020 alone, and around 320,000 members in collective benefits. You also have highlights with more than 100 plus stores across 6 provinces. Provides Sundial with an integration and expansion platform in the current operating markets in Canada. They have positive adjusted EBITDA margins and positive just net revenue, historical revenue. That's amazing. And you're able to see as well in some of the Q2 highlights is they're growing in their revenue overall of 8% for Sundial. Now, yes, there is losses, but it's really mainly towards one thing. It's the old facility, which is a non-cash impairment that really need to be targeted. Once you do so, you might actually even be getting profitable in the next quarters or so. Now, they also talked about in the last 2 second quarters, they had the highest potencies and everything in between. They're talking about their old facility here. And more on that, their brand's portfolio, their focus on inhalables, their current percentage, and you get to see there has been a bit of a shift towards Grasslands and Palmetto for dried flower, and for vape in particular, it seems to be that the value and the discount seems to be the majority of all the sales put out. And you get to see that the market pricing, the market share for things like Top Leaf and other Sundial have decreased quite a lot from what we've previously seen, and a lot of people are going to discountings or discounts in value, and that could be really in relations towards the economy in general in North America. Even though our politicians are saying we're booming, we might actually still be in trouble with some people not being able to afford premium products, or they're just simply choosing to invest their money instead of putting it into that and choosing value and discount prices. Now, in terms of their operations, we did talk about Sunstream investments multiple times before we updated it, but basically, to sum it short, Sundial has so much money, they're investing in the entire sector with SAF Group as a partner, and just to capture basically the entire market in general for the cannabis industry. Now, in terms of institutional buyers, we get to see a lot more additions of institutional buyers, which are amazing. Goldman Sachs Group actually only today added a position. GMT Capital Core added 2.1 million shares. And you get to see there is a bit of mix, but mainly bullish than bearish. Now, on the short interest, short volumes appear to be somewhat high. On average, they're hovering around 40 to 50%. And that shows you that almost half of all the shares being traded on any given day are most likely going to the short side, even though the short volume is around 15.26, and the last thing was a downgrade from Concord Genuity, and they went from 40 cents to 65 cents, but overall in 2021 you've seen either initiations or up or downgrades, but all I'm seeing is that the stock prices has plummeted, yet the net revenue and some of the information they give us is a bit more exciting, specifically alone relating towards the cash they have. Let's move on towards technical analysis. Now, from a technical analysis perspective, we're starting to see that some of the moving averages are a bit mixed. We basically dropped close to 10% today, which wasn't really ideal at any given point. Now, yes, there's a lot of that relating towards news. A lot of people saw it as a horrible revenue kind of direction. I try to see the good side in this, but all in all, a lot of these stocks seem to be more of trying to, or at least these estimates by these analysts are usually a lot higher than actually trying to understand the longer term growth of such company. So, and all in all, you're able to see that the William% R shows that this one is heavily oversold at 100%, which is very similar to the relative strength index. On the MACD part and momentum, both are gone towards the negative momentum side, and towards the stochastic fast and stochastic slow, both have actually gone towards, suggesting that there might be another support testing. And on the Bollinger Bands, this one is expected to trade 87 cents in the top and 77 cents in at the bottom, and 90 cents and 73 cents respectively for the moving average bands. Now on the chart, I do want to take a look into Fibonacci retracements for one big reason is because high frequency traders use it. The current support is only at 14 cents on the Fibonacci, so we'll have to use the price line action in a second. Resistances are 104, 160, 205, 250, 314, and 396. In terms of price line action, you're able to see a significant support level at the 73 cents. Below there, 69 cents. Below there, around 52 cents. Below there, 47 cents. 43 cents below, and 36 cents, and around 26 cents. Now, on the resistances, you're able to see 85 cents as a significant resistance. And then following that is around 91 cents, and then 98 cents in that particular place, and then 105, and then 124, and then above there 133, and then going upwards to 151, and then upwards to around 163. And we start seeing some of these jumps go up higher to around $2 as well. Comes to the question, Ed, what do you actually think about this stock? Well, I'm definitely still remaining as a part that this company is holding a lot of cash, hoping towards moving on towards the US market, but that's been a strong tease from the Senate and the Congress with different bills coming and going relating towards cannabis legalization from the federal level. Now, in terms of this company, they have enormous amount of cash. They're able to just buy other companies that are net positive and add it towards that, and the price over sales gets fixed up right away. And they would have done a net income having not been to non-cash impairment on the old facility. So that's their weakest spot, and they recognize it. And in order to go towards net positive, they need to address that, because that was $60 million only on the second quarter. So they need to fix that. Once they do, they become profitable, and that's where you start seeing the price action really move. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Sure, subscribe and like, and have a wonderful day. Now, if you're still here on this video, make sure to drop down below and join our Discord. We have a lot of different things going on, including, for instance, members that gives picks for free. It's not pump and dumps, we just things we think about, swings, etc. We also have really exciting bots. You can actually use those ones. For instance, we're just testing out this bot, for instance, that gives you Fibonacci resistance points, activities, etc. And we have a bunch of free things, totally free. We run on tips here, and you can ask me questions, suggest stocks, etc. It's a really nice community that has been growing up very fast at a very good rate, and it's totally free. If you would like to join that one, feel free to do so in the description below, and have a wonderful day.